Tell me some of the things you're most proud of your kids.
Oh my goodness, I am proud, more than anything, I am so proud of their beautiful hearts. You know, despite of what they've gone through, they've not been tainted, and that speaks in volumes. They're still loving, they're still very forgiving. Believe me when I tell you, they are extremely forgiving for what they've had to deal with. You know, it's been a very difficult, trying 3 years for them and for me, and I'm just so proud of the individuals they've turned out to be. You know, they're very loving, very compassionate, and, you know, go-getters. My son is joining the RCMP, so that's his goal. My daughter just, it is so exciting because his mission is to help others in the community. And my daughter has used her singing, you know, gifts as a way of dealing with what she's had to deal with in her life, and she just got signed on to a record label. So, you know, and she's been interviewed, and in her interview she said, you know, that I've seen my mama go through a lot, and, you know, and she, you know, she goes, I could have turned to other negative things, but I've decided to follow in her footsteps and, you know, stick true to my dreams, and so I'm so proud that, you know, they've, through our trials and tribulations, they've stuck true to who they are, and I'm extremely proud of them. You know, I'm proud of the energy they bring in when they walk into a room. I'm proud of their positive demeanor, because they could have played the victim. Yeah. It's so easy, you know, to play the victim. It's so easy. It's a lot easier. Yeah. But, you know, I've never played the victim, nor will I ever play the victim. So I'm very proud of them for turning out to be these positive, you know, individuals that they've turned out to be, and for staying true to themselves. They're very strong-minded, very strong-spirited. I want to really get that one.
No idea. No idea.
So for that, I'm proud. You know, it could have been the other way. They could have, you know, used what they've had to go through as an excuse for turning to drugs and alcohol. Because at their age, it's available. Let me tell you.
It's easy.
It's easy.
So it sounds like they haven't taken the easy way out a lot of times. They
haven't. Yeah. No, and, you know, when I had to resort to cleaning, you know, toilets for a living, when what happened to me, they were on their hands and knees on that floor with me. We were cleaning places together. Right. You know, so I'm really proud of them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a lot of bonding stuff.
A lot of bonding stuff.
How old were you when you had your first kid?
I was 27 when I had my son. He's actually turning 17 this month.
Nice.
I know. Scary. Nice and scary.
It's funny because I remember when they were so young. So,
I know.
Michaela would like draw me like a little drawing and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
No, she's still artistically in tune. Yeah, she's 14 going on 30, and my son is a man. He's 16 going on 30 himself. So yeah, they're amazing.
What was that like? I mean, when you found out you were pregnant, one day you're not, and then one day you are. What happens in your brain? What is that process like? I mean,
it was an overwhelming sense of responsibility, right down to the air that was going into my lungs. I'm not kidding you. Like, I was careful of where I would step, just so I wouldn't, you know, step in the wrong place, twist my ankle, lose my, you know, an overwhelming sense of responsibility. It's like, oh my God, I'm now responsible for this other being. The second I found out I was pregnant, that was the first thing that, what did I eat today? You know, it was like, you know, retracking, and, you know, but I made sure I was on the right supplements before we, you know, conceived. But that was the first thing that happened, is I'm now responsible for someone else, and I took that responsibility very seriously. I mean, I ate enough for 10 people. I only had to eat for 2.
And you do that for the baby.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
So like,
all that cheesecake was for them too, right?
Well, my son has a sweet tooth now. But 65 pounds later with my son, it was, you know, every pound I cherished, because, you know, I knew that I was, you know, doing the right thing. And I started reading to my belly the second I found out. I know it sounds ridiculous.
No, it does. My mom did the same.
You know, every night I would grab a book and I start reading to my belly, and I would play, you know, classical music.
Yeah, that's supposed to be good for the
brain, you know, and I think I know a lot of those things have contributed. Yeah. You know, and the fact that I did start reading to them the second they were, not the second, but when we went home and I had them in our home, I started reading to them.
And even if reading to them contributed absolutely nothing, which I don't believe. I think it does contribute. But even if it didn't, I think your belief that it does, the harmony that would be in your body as a result would be almost more important. You know. So Yeah, no,
It is all about your belief at the end of the day, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think most things.
It
are.
is a lot of things.
Yeah.
And you know, truth be known, the reason why I chose to parent in the manner that I have, and I was adamant about it, I took it as serious as most people take their jobs. It was my job to do. I bought books on parenting before my children were born, and the reason why I think I was probably more adamant about doing it right, so I thought is because that's not what I had been privileged to. You know, my upbringing was horrid. I'm writing a book about it. You know, you name it, it happened. You know. I was beaten, sexually abused. I mean, it was pretty ugly. And so I remember every time that would happen, I would make a vow to myself at the age of 12. If and when I ever have a child, I will make sure that I do the exact of what I'm being subjected to right now, the exact opposite. So, you know, when I hear people that victimize themselves, you know, I was sexually abused or I was beaten as a child, so was I. It's all in what you choose. It's how you choose to deal with it going forward. So I believe that that's probably why I was more adamant, and I was, you know, because I wanted to do everything the exact opposite of what my parents did.
What's interesting about that, I didn't know that. What's interesting about that, though, is that when I've described you to other people, I've actually made the comparison to Oprah a few times, and she actually has a similar story. So it's kind of, isn't that kind of interesting? Because I said that, I'm like, you know, I'll be talking about her. I'm like, yeah, just imagine like an incredibly beautiful Oprah, I guess. Like, I'm trying to think of like a way to describe you in like a short sentence. So it's kind of interesting because I would say that she has a similar take on it. You know, I don't think that she's gone, yeah, let's embrace the darkness.
No,
you know?
But you know, embrace the potentials of your future.
Yeah.
And what you're capable of instilling in your children. I wanted everything different.
Yeah. Good for you.
And I believe that. Yeah, and I believe that I have. I mean, I don't know about tomorrow. Yeah. I'd be a fool to think that, you know, I'm not going to run across obstacles that I may not be able to handle as eloquently as I've handled what I've had to deal with up until now. But I'm okay with that. Yeah. Yeah. I'm okay with that because tomorrow is another day. I'm grateful for today. Yeah. Today I have a great relationship with my kids, and I'll cherish it till I go to bed tonight. Tomorrow's a new day. So,
sure. Yeah.
So far, so good. You know. Yeah, it's been quite the blessing. I feel blessed to have had the privilege of being able to do what I sought out to do. Yeah, you know. So, yeah.
When's the book coming? Is it still being written?
Yeah, actually, I've only written up to chapter 2. It's actually sets me back sometimes because, you know, it's different to have it in here, but when you write it down and when you read about it, I can't believe that that individual that I'm writing about, it's me. So sometimes I need to take a step back and heal before I can. So it's been a very interesting journey, one that I didn't, you don't know until you do it. And, you know, and now that I have started the process, it's been very healing.
Do you find that to write the book, you almost have to take a step back mentally to be like where you were?
Absolutely, and that's what takes me back, like psychologically, emotionally, and sometimes it has a physical effect on me. You know, sometimes I actually feel physically ill, and a few times it's going to sound, you know, it's going to sound crazy, but I've actually embraced the pages that I've written. Like, you know, I'm trying to console that
inner self,
that broken spirit that just refused to break.
Not broken. Not broken. Torn up a few times.
Torn up a few times, and you know, and I embrace that little Mitra. Yeah, you know, I hug her, and
good for you.
You know, and I forgive. I've forgiven myself for neglecting that child within because I blamed her.
Sure.
Up until recently, I blamed her for everything. You know, because, you know, if I had spoken up, maybe if I'd fought back. Right. But I've come to realize that, you know, when you're of that age, you know, that's the same age as what my daughter is at right now. You know, she's not in a position to fight, even though she's a lot stronger than I was back then because of the connection she has to her mama.
And martial arts and everything else.
Is contributed to her strength.
I mean, you've given her the perfect petri dish to grow.
I've tried to. I've tried to. I mean, that's all that you can do at the end of the day.
Of course.
You know what I mean? What they choose to pursue going forward is entirely up to them. I can't control her mindset, but what I can do is do the very best that I can. And you know, I may have not even done the very best that I was capable of, but I did whatever I could within my power, and I will continue to do so.
And I think ultimately, like you said, it's the respect that you've given, so that in the end, you can't control her, but what you can do is be a person she respects.
Yes.
So that when she has a question, she goes to the person she respects. right?
I would have lost her had I tried to control her, because she was going through something very fragile, you know, and I related to her because I went through what she was going through. So I'm so grateful that through my experiences, good or bad, you know, I mean, I see every negative as a positive. Everything happens for a reason, and I thank God that I went through what I went through, because it put me in a position to be a better parent to her.